this ideal in my brain turned out to be Black Lifestyle Advocates for Culture and Knowledge. This is a program, it's a partnership between Planned Parenthood of Tennessee and North Mississippi and Sister Reach. Planned Parenthood is a reproductive rights organization and also a healthcare advocacy organization. Sister Reach is a reproductive justice organization, which very similar views than Planned Parenthood, but specifically on things that impact the Black community, in particular issues that really deeply impact Black women. Um, I guess the way to think about it, when a Black woman decides to bring, whether or not she wants to birth a child into this world, she has to think about the lifestyle of that child and the opportunities for that child when they come into the world and everything that could impact that. So this work is very dope. And of course, if you ever want to get involved with either of these organizations, there'll be opportunities to. And anytime we do one of our events, and we definitely want you to get involved somehow because that's kind of the purpose. So just a few housekeeping rules, which I know a lot of people on here, we really don't have to do it, but I just want to make sure we show some love and respect for people talking. Remember to mute your mics when you're not speaking. And remember, we all in this together. We bad boys, and bad folks for life, right? And so now, no further ado, I would like to, I got somebody coming in. I would like to introduce you to the fellows. And I want to say that I couldn't be more proud of this moment today. These five individuals have worked so hard, balancing their own personal lives. We got folks in schools, running businesses, families. I mean, they're doing everything that you can imagine. And so we can't wait to hear more from them. So fellas, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen here for a second, and we're gonna just kind of open the floor to you. So I guess you got some kind of popcorn in, and what we'll do is just kind of talk about, who you are, what you do, what did you do before the fellowship, and then we'll kind of talk about more about your work within the fellowship next.
Okay, I'll start.
Okay,
So my name is Kayla Collins, and I am the Political Advocacy Fellow. Prior to becoming a fellow, I'm currently in graduate school getting my master's in public health. And I also work in the field of public health. Currently, I'm working with the COVID vaccinations. Aside from that, I also do CDC project studies. And I also just kind of volunteer in the community and always, look for different aspects and ways to improve the Black lives down here or globally. Yeah, so.
Thank you for that, Kayla. All right, who we got next?
What it do, y'all? I am Josh Harper. I am the Faith Advocate Fellow for Black Lifestyle Advocacy for Culture and Knowledge. Anyway, prior to doing this, I've done a lot of work in the intersection between ministry and education. I was the coordinator of diversity at the University of Mississippi, where I was also simultaneously where I currently serve as the associate pastor of Abyssinian Baptist Church, where we are affectionately known as the Blackest Church in Memphis and Shelby County. So much of my research and my interests have been at the intersections of education, justice, Black liberation, and of course, spirituality.
Thank you for that, Josh. Josh, if many of you, if anybody follow him on like Facebook and social media, he engages in these conversations. He's been doing them for years, and he definitely say things I think to get people to think, and he's done a great job at that. And I can't wait to see this work come out to life in Black organizing. So, all right.
Okay, I'll go next. Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren Williams Baptiste. I am the founder and owner of El's Elixirs. El's Elixirs is a wellness brand that makes self-care simple. We are located in Memphis, Tennessee, and I am the Black Business Fellow for our program. So I'm so excited to be here, and my role is to spotlight and uplift Black businesses in our city. I was in a training the other day, and they asked us to identify one word about Memphis, and my word was innovation. And I just think it's so important to spotlight and uplift so many innovators and creatives in the city that are bringing their gifts and talents to our business community. So super happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Lauren. All right, we got Sierra.
Hi, I'm Sierra Wallace. I'm one of the Sexual Health and Lifestyle Fellows.
Sierra.
The Family Center, if you're familiar with any of them.
Sierra, we're getting a bad reception. Is it? There you go.
Can you hear me now?
I think we can hear you now. It's in and out.
All right.
I'm so sorry.
All right. Well, I'm sorry for the bad connection, but overall, I've worked with a lot of nonprofits in the past, and currently, I'm also working with one right now to help alongside FEMA to disseminate information into the local area to help with COVID and combating that. My goal is to just go into the community and both uplift and educate the Black community in terms of sexual health and things like that. So just equipping our people with more information so that they can better help themselves.
Absolutely. Yes. And we're here for that help. Absolutely. All right. So we have the folks who are out, who can bring you back into the space with your cameras. If you're still here. I'm seeing folks, we got 19 participants here. So yeah, come on back in with your camera so we can see your face. And
introduce myself, Antoine.
Absolutely. And
Okay.
Oh my God, this screen is getting smaller and smaller. So I just kind of want to start, I guess, with what we kind of popcorn in the same way. So each of your roles are very specific, and you have like upcoming programming that's happening. I just want to, I guess, have you talk about like what was your like motivation for applying for the fellowship, and like what is your goal with your particular role? What do you hope to achieve?
First, Antoine, can I introduce myself first?
I'm so sorry, Ariane. I'm so used to you going first all the time. I would have assumed you already went.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Ariane.
I be talking and I be letting other people talk sometimes.
Exactly.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Ari. I'm the sexual health and lifestyle advocate storyteller alongside Sierra. I am the owner of a very small and trying to get their business called Her Consulting Companies, a small business consulting company. I have a couple of hustles. They're legal though. And then I'm a mother of a beautiful 5-year-old daughter. And I got linked up with Planned Parenthood, actually meeting Antoine at a career fair when I was in undergraduate school to finish my bachelor's as a non-traditional, AKA grown student. And then I've been working with Planned Parenthood volunteer ever since then. And so then when this opportunity came up and he extended an invitation, I definitely jumped on it. And so I'm here. And my goal is to create a framework that allows people to tell their stories and connect with each other.
Wow, thank you. And it's so funny. Taryn was actually at that event.
Yes,
yeah.
That's what I
yeah.
It's been like 3 years. Hi.
Yeah. Yes, that's what's up. All right.
Okay.
So, and I guess I'll let you guys jump in however you want to. So, like, just thinking about your role and what you're going to be talking about, like, what was your motivation for joining, and like, what do you want people to achieve from your work?
Yeah, I think. Oh, I know. For me, I just love Black people, and I ain't explaining nothing else to anybody else about it. That's number one. So my goals that I want to accomplish is just to help Black folks become free and more free, particularly as it relates to our understanding of spirituality and sexuality.
So Joshua, I want everybody to know, like, the role that you accepted was one of the toughest roles to recruit for. And in the world of advocacy, people are like afraid to talk about faith and spirituality. Why do you think that's a thing?
I think More so because for Black folks, which is what I'm centering, I think white supremacy has a lot to do with that. They kind of dictate and determine what we should and shouldn't talk about, particularly in the faith space. So I would say that, and then I think just ultimately, due to white supremacy, we have also been forced to believe that we are inadequate and we are inferior, and our thoughts and ideas and cultures and lifestyles are evil and taboo. So I think that's what it comes from.
Wow. So do you have any like some ideas on like maybe some future topics that people can look forward to hearing about?
Oh yay, yay. So make sure y'all do this shameless plug real quick. You know what I'm talking about? No music way, yeah. Okay. On April 11th, I am having an event connected, of course, with Planned Parenthood and Sister Reach. It is inspired by Jasmine Sullivan's most recent album called Hotels. The event is called Hotels, Black Faith and Body Freedom. So ultimately, we're talking about the power of promiscuity and how, in fact, while it has been demonized and the whole idea is taboo and evil and all that, I actually argue and suggest that perhaps that could very well be where God wants you to be, to lead you to where you can be your best, most healthiest self. I think Rahab in scripture gives us a good indication that yeah, it's all right to be a hoe, because there may be some holiness for it in the end.
Josh, I can't wait to get the feedback on this one. It's gonna be excellent.
And I want to say just real quick, I think ultimately my goal is to help people understand, if you really want to become more holy, learn how to become more human. I think that the church teaches us how to be everything else but human. So once we learn how to embrace our humanity, we can ultimately learn how to embrace our holiness.
See, when you said that, they brought Krista Taylor back. That brought Krista Taylor back right there. So for a lot of y'all don't know, Krista Taylor was a longtime radio host on gospel radio here in Memphis, and she's also done secular radio, all kind of radio. But she's like a voice of like Memphis urban radio. Now she has her own blog, Krista Taylor Online. I'm sure she'll work with us at some point and do something with the Black Fellows. So that'll be amazing. All right.
Sure everybody goes to Facebook and confirm that you're coming. It's literally called Hotels, H-E-A-U-X, Tales, T-A-L-E-S. Just click.
I don't think you're gonna have an issue getting people to attend that one, Josh.
I don't think so either, Doc. I don't think so.
Well, I'm really excited about something because one of the issues one of the things we've been seeing lifted a lot, especially during the pandemic, have been Black businesses. Black businesses have been a big push for the last couple of years, and we're so glad to have Lauren Williams-Baptiste, who has a very amazing Black business that actually I've tried it before. It's like a tea. You can drink the tea, you can smoke the tea or bathe in this tea, and it's amazing. But I'm curious to know from like Lauren, like some of the things she want to cover with Shop Talks, and which is a huge push from PPFA to really highlight some Black businesses. So Lauren, tell us about Shop Talks and what you're gonna be doing with that.
Yeah, so I am so excited about Shop Talks and some of our events coming up. So one of our first events is going to be a sip and shop, where you'll get a chance to mix, mingle, to hear from other business owners and shop on a Saturday afternoon. To go back to your question, Antoine, about like our goals and what we want to bring to the fellowship, our vantage point, and how we're situated in the fellowship. And so for me, as the Black Business Fellow, I think it's important to bring as many people into this space and into the conversation as possible. I've been a reproductive justice, rights, and health advocate for many, many, many years. And I just think it's so important that as we're, building, that we're still gathering our people, because this work is so important and there's so many intersections with our lives. And when I originally applied to the fellowship and I saw that there was a Black business advocate position, I was like, told Antoine this, like, I was floored because, and I was excited. That is an intersection that we miss within the movement a lot. And there's so many things that Black businesses can contribute to the conversation and learn, and most importantly. So I am excited about, expanding the conversation, bringing more folks into the fold, and understanding how they can also be, a reproductive justice leader, advocate in their own spaces.
Well, I think it's really interesting too that you still find that fine line of self-care, because I think as a lot of entrepreneurs will learn over time, self-care is like, for an entrepreneur, could be coming home and turning on the lights, and it's like, oh, my lights came on. It's self-care. I can see today. But in corporate America, it may be take some time off on my vacation days that I've accrued. There's no accrual. Like, how do you plan to intersect some of that knowledge about self-care as an entrepreneur? Versus not being an entrepreneur or something like that in some work that you're doing?
Yeah, no, definitely. And this was one of my big pushes to why I feel like I know that I'm well positioned to have this conversation and be a catalyst for this conversation from the wellness space. Self-care, wellness, they become really buzzy, lately, but it's something that grounds and connects all of us. Everybody can use just a breath, just a chance to take a breath and breathe and relax. And that's one of my missions with my business, is to make sure that people find that moment of clarity, of relaxation, because we work so hard. And then especially as a Black woman, as a Black business owner, as a Black person living in our world, in our country, it's hard, it's tough, and we all deserve opportunities to find some type of relief. So I just think, yes, so to answer your question, yes, I'll be intersecting all of that, all up and through all of our programming.
It's awesome. Thank you so much, Lauren. I kind of want to switch gears a little bit. I see Kayla down there smiling, so I want to kind of just kind of pick her brain for a minute. So Kayla actually applied to one of the sexual healthcare positions, opportunities, but it was already taken. And she was like, listen, she was like, I want this so bad that I'll even try my hands at policy and advocacy. And I was so thankful for that. And so first of all, Kayla's been like following like policy work with some of our policy folks, and have been looking at some things that's important. And she also, which is I think so cool, want to intersect some sexuality conversations in those. Kayla, can you tell us a little bit about how sexuality impacts you and is going to impact your work as identifying policy that you want to discuss?
Definitely. So sexuality impacts me because I feel like in the Black, especially within the Black community, but in general, there's a lot of stigma, towards STIs and kind of like sexual identity. For example, I'm a polyamorous bisexual Black woman. And a lot of people think that's taboo. A lot of people think that I just like to have threesomes, or, I'm just promiscuous, and I'm not, that's none of the above. And so as far as in relation to policy, even stigmas associated with like HIV, and kind of how, for example, having to tell someone that you're HIV positive legally, kind of how that barriers like an individual. So that's kind of how I plan to intersect those. Policy in general, I just think it's important for Black people to have the resources that they need, and also to be educated upon, laws, because a lot of Black people, we don't know a lot of, laws and regulations and policies that can apply to us that we can benefit from, and also those that can harm us. So I feel like it's important to identify those policies and kind of tackle disparities that we suffer, neighborhood segregation, lack of housing, homelessness, mental health, sexual health, reproductive health. Those are pertinent to, identify within the Black community, so that we can prosper and be able to, live as, our majority counterparts.
And thank you for
now minorities. counterparts.
Absolutely. I really thank you for mentioning that, because I do, when I think about the name Black Lifestyles for Culture and Knowledge, it encompasses like a comprehensive types of lifestyles. And what are some challenges you think that people could have with understanding or embracing the various lifestyles of Black folks?
That's a good question. So one, I definitely think that kind of fear of acceptance, we're already targeted within, different communities. We already lack a lot of knowledge and a lot of resources that, like I said, our majority counterparts and even other minorities have access to. So I think, and I also think that Black people, we kind of are always feeling like we have to be on defense, or so if someone was to come to me, like I said, and pick at me or judge me because of my sexuality, like that would make me not want to express myself or be open to receive it gracefully. I am a very open-minded person. I really don't care what people have to say about me or how I necessarily make them feel with what's going on with me personally, but a lot of people can't say that. You can target a male for being, gay, and, he won't even want to express himself to the point to where he becomes homophobic and he's afraid to accept who he really is. So I think that those are, key points to target and to kind of make people feel comfortable with who they are, and to be able to accept themselves.
Now, you didn't have to tell my business. That was my story, Caleb. Let me tell
That's my story too. I'm in a sorority, and I really didn't even want my line sisters to know that I was bisexual, because I didn't want them to think like, oh, she's gonna hit on me, or but I'm grateful, I'm grateful to have those sisters that accept me. I have friends that accept me. I was actually having a conversation with my friend the other night about how she never felt like pressured or any type of weirdness from me. And I'm like, yeah, because girlfriend, I'm not like that. I don't like, just because I am bisexual, and I like women doesn't automatically mean I like you. So yeah, I just kind of feel like that's important. Like, it's just, I'm very open, and I feel like people should kind of calm down a little bit and kind of open up and be judgment free.
Yes, right.
Just because at the end of the day, I'm just a person that believes that no one can judge you but God. At the end of the day, God's going to be the one, if you are, spiritual in that aspect, if not, whatever you believe in, that's kind of how you're going to go. So you should be working towards that goal, not worry about what anyone else has to say about you or who doesn't like you because of that, because you're wasting a lot of energy. So.
Well, I know one thing, if anybody judge me, I'm calling you.
Oh, well, I'll be right there. You know it.
So in the same vein, thank you for the, Kayla, of sexuality, we have a fellow, Sierra, who is amazing. And Sierra has some ideas about ways that she wants to sort of speak about inclusivity around Black sexuality and lifestyle. And also she want to make it fun, and she has the right personality to do it. So Sierra, talk to us about some things that you have in mind. Tell us about, what you want people to take away and some goals that you have with your role.
Hi, can you all hear me this time?
Kind of, sort of. I wonder, this has never happened. See, we have one-on-ones all the time.
Okay,
Just fine.
Do you think if I turn my video off, it might come clear? No?
I don't think that.
That's what usually helps. If the connection is bad, if you cut the video off, sometimes the speaking comes through better.
Okay, try it and see.
I'm gonna try that. Okay, hello you guys. So one of my first ideas for an event is actually a summer survival guide. So I know it's getting hot, people are going to be going outdoors, and not only that, they're going to be interacting with other people from now on, but with that, I want to not only inform, but once again, empower the community to, you can go out and, have fun, go into some sexual experiences, but I want them to be able to be safe, and not only be safe, be empowered to express themselves the way that fulfills them. So what I'm going to mainly be covering is sexuality and gender expression. And so within this summer survival guide, we're gonna have kind of like a Dora's backpack almost, but instead of a map and, a singing, I don't know, she has something else that sings in her backpack, but we're gonna have kind of like an information pamphlet that will inform inform people about one, safe sex practices. So we're going to go over going to the clinic, going and obtaining things such as condoms, and not only and not only condoms, but actually just the different type, how to use them, things like that. How to go into sexual experiences and being informed of your own status and your potential partner or partner's status and things like that. Also how to go into situations and be aware of other people and how they may or may not express themselves, so like that you're not dimming someone else's light when you step into a room, those types of things. Because I know within the Black community, it's not, we all know within the Black community, it's not a given that you go step into a room and that you're accepted due to your sexuality or gender expression. And my goal in one of the summer survival kit parts of the summer survival kit is to just not only inform people, but to make it more easily accessible in terms of information, because a lot of the Black community, we're unfortunately very bigoted in ways because we don't know, because no one tells us. So a lot of the people like one might meet might not understand or even want to understand, because no one has ever approached them with the information that will allow them to equip themselves to be informed.
So it sounds like to me you want to have a very non-judgmental, open conversation, but with a lot of reality.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because that's life. That's the 2021 that we live in.
That's very true. That's very true. Thank you for that. And I'm ready to get my backpack and my information. I'm gonna need it this summer, I'm sure. And if I don't, I'm gonna pass it to somebody else who do.
We all will. We all will.
All right. So the last person who I want to kind of open the floor up and talk a little bit more about is Ariane. Well, she goes by Ari. I call her Ariane because I've been calling her whole name forever. I call her government name too, but I ain't gonna tell you her government name. But but Ariane has worked with us before as a storyteller. She started maybe was it 2 years ago maybe that?
A little bit over, yeah.
A little over 2 years ago, yeah. She drove all the way from Jackson, Tennessee to share an abortion story, did an amazing job. She's done it a couple different times for us. So our staff is very much so knowledgeable of her, but I wanted her to kind of share some ideas that she have about storytelling in this platform. So Ari, welcome to the fellowship. Yay.
Thank you. Hey, everybody, or should I say hello and welcome? Okay, so I just want to start with, I've always been blessed with this kind of viewpoint of objectivity. And as I got older and more in tune with myself, I was able to understand that was what is termed storyteller. Being able to see things from different point of view and finding values in different people's point of view, even if I totally disagree. I realized that it's a part of humanity and it's a part of reality. So my goal as the sexual health advocate, lifestyle storyteller, is to tell one collective true story, and creating an environment that allows people with different backgrounds, experiences, narratives, a safe place to share their individual stories and experience healing, um, through just connecting through the truths of their fellow human beings. So um, the first event that I'm kind of hosting and is called Dear Black Woman, the bag or the boot. And so as a Black woman, the very first lens that I look through after being human, after being a woman, is being a Black woman. And so I just want to have a space for us to have that discussion. Whereas oftentimes we're labeled as, dramatic, too ghetto, too loud, the hoops, the neck, you know what I'm saying? All that. When we're trying to tell our stories, it's a problem because other people decide where we're coming from instead of asking. They create a narrative for us. And just, it's frustrating. And I want to create a space where we can have those conversations where nobody else could dictate um dictate what it is that we think and feel for that event. And then overall, I want to create that same space for everybody, no matter what your sexuality is, where you're coming from religiously, your upbringing, whatever, to just be able to say, this is my truth. And whether you agree with it, I'm in a place where I'm valued as a human being. And so that's my ultimate goal, just in life from the point of view of a storyteller, and here with the Black Fellowship.
This is awesome. Thank you for that, Ari. I've always heard there's like power in like sharing your own experience. How have you found like story sharing to be powerful for you and your experiences that you've done it so far?
Well, the very first thing that I remember being gifted to do is writing. I can remember as far back as about 5 when I started writing poetry, and I remember like my first poem was like about the sun to God, like how you make this happen. It's really bad, but okay. So it's always been healing for me. And when I connected, I met, like I said, I met Antoine at a career event, but I could reconnected with him about a year later. And he had asked me to speak about my abortion story. And that was the first time it was like a public thing. I had been able to speak with people outside of my immediate circle. And it was so healing for me, and to have people connect to me, have similar stories or very different stories, but the same experience. So for me, it's healing, and then the feedback to me shows me that I'm not alone in what any story I've ever told about myself. Somebody said I can relate, or I know somebody that can relate. So it lets me know like how important and how interconnected we are as human beings, and that you're just not alone no matter how you feel. And especially having a battle with battling with manic depression and suicide attempts in my life. um what storytelling has allowed me to do is to come out of that space. I heard a gentleman describe depression in this way, and he said it's like being in a dark room with no windows and no doors, and you don't see a way out. And that's the best description I've ever heard. And storytelling allows me to have windows and doors. So
Hmm. Thank you. That is so deep, and thank you for sharing the experience. Yes, I love that. And also too, I feel like not only did you tell a story, but you also have told particularly an abortion story, which is hugely stigmatized with Black women. How does that experience change your life around storytelling?
um well, the like the other fellow spoke about the taboo. Obviously, in the Black community, like Josh mentioned, religion has been used in our history as a form of control, and so a lot of Black people that I know automatically revert to how it's against what God wants, or it's against religion, or it's sacrilegious, and it's a part of life. It happens regardless of what you believe on a personal level should happen. So telling my abortion story allowed me to own my truth and become unapologetic about it, both to myself and to anyone else. Like in one version of the story I say that it's my truth, not my explanation. And it allowed me to really believe those words and exercise that. Like I don't have to explain what I feel is best for me, and I've gotten to the point now where I want to create that space for other people.
So, is it safe to say that telling your story did create a healthier mental space for you?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because even if you remember, I don't know if you remember this far back, but when I was telling you my abortion story before we got to the point of you asking me to share it, I was bawling while I was talking to you. And so now I can talk like in a platform like this. And sometimes I get a little upset, or it depends on the day, but I can talk in front of people that I'm not particularly close with about it, like without having shame, or without just being like like with the snot and all that.
Got
So
it.
yeah.
Well, thank you for that. I'm looking forward to like people attending that and getting some tools on sharing stories about many things, because all of your stories are about your storytelling events will be about different things around stories. Like I know you love to talk about relationships, so y'all relationship folks need to be there because she
Or entanglements, honey, because we got y'all act like y'all
yeah,
ain't had no entanglements,
yeah,
okay?
yeah. The entanglements, they have their beauty points. All right.
Right.
So I want to open the floor. I feel like we've got a chance to get some general information about the fellows. So I want to open the floor to any guests that we see and some that we don't see. Like we have a total of 20 people here. I don't see 20 faces, but we're glad that you're all here. So I want to open the floor. If you pop in one at a time. So maybe I will try this.
Hey, I'm just a guest. I was just here to support, and I have really enjoyed listening to all of you. And I do plan on supporting everybody that I can remember, the Elixirs, and I'm gonna try to find Josh on Facebook to attend the hotels. I think I'm saying that right, but I'll find the link somewhere. And anything else that's in Memphis or Jackson, I'll try to figure it out, see what we can do. But yeah,
Absolutely. Well, the
I
good
appreciate y'all having me.
Absolutely. Good thing is all these going to be virtual this time around. So if you
Awesome.
also follow Planned Parenthood of Tennessee and North Mississippi, we'll post event links there too to sign up as well.